Can you hear that phone ringing?
No. All right. Um, Here we go.
Yay.
You ready?
I am.
You gotta look at the camera. Hold on. Stop it. All right. Hello, everyone. Melinda Schmidt Connect here for Resonate Marketing. Sorry, we're a couple minutes late. We were testing out, had some audio difficulties. Hopefully, everybody can hear us. If you can't hear us, please let us know. But I am here with my good friend, Kimberlie Pekez, who has been a real estate agent for how long, Kim?
Almost 19 years.
Okay, a long time. And very successful real estate agent.
Made it through the 2008 market downfall, so I survived that.
And you've been through training throughout all those years because follow-up is essential in your business. I mean, for some of us, it's like if we're networking, we need to follow up or else, but it's not like our bottom line is directly tied to follow up. For you, your bottom line is directly tied to that. So you take follow up very seriously.
I do. And you bring up a point about my business and compared to others, although I also have noticed myself with any business, maybe, I had a decorator come to my house many years ago, and I forgot who she was. I lost her phone number, and I needed more work done on my house. So if she had followed up with me, I would have been able to use her, but I wound up using somebody else. And I recognize that. So I don't get as upset when a past client does that. I look at it, it's like, well, my follow-up was poor, so my bad, right?
Okay. That's a great point. Great point. Especially the older you get, the more those names and people, like, I know exactly the scenario, I know this and that, but I just can't remember the exact name to find them. So that's a great point. So you were sharing with me, the reason I brought you on is because you were sharing with me a technique that has to do with the alphabet. So you can divide it up and make sure that you're consistently touching the people in your database.
Yes. Well, I believe in systems, and I don't like to try and reinvent the wheel. And when someone gives me a wonderful system that is proven and shows results, then I'm going to incorporate it. And that one for follow-up, I mean, I have 4 follow-up methods that I use, and I'm going to do it in the order that I believe is most important. And through experience, I get the most feedback and positive feedback, and actually a back and forth communication. So postcards are not my thing. I do not send postcards. It's very expensive and they get thrown in the trash. My first form of follow-up is definitely phone calls, and database is number 1 for me. So with any business, it would be past business. Obviously friends, relatives, anybody in your database, that is your gold. That is, because those people already know, like, and trust you. So those are the people I focus on. And I have a neat system that was taught to me. I did not invent this. I will not take credit, although it's about the weeks of the year and the alphabet. So if you were to take the weeks of the year, and if you want to go 52, but honestly, we take vacations, right? So I would say 2 to 4 weeks off of that, so go down to 48 weeks. and you would divide that by the number of letters in the alphabet, which are 26. So, I mean, you could do a 13-week cycle, and you could do 2 letters a week. And I have a neat little, I can actually show it. It's on paper, so I don't know how well you can see this. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So as you can see, it goes down, and these are probably going to be like the fewest calls you'll make. So you can always like add the A's and B's could be like the first 2 weeks instead of 1 week or something like that.
Right.
But this right here is, I would say, the number one way to communicate and get feedback from people, staying in front of their faces. And I find I use, when I make those phone calls, I use the Ford method. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Ford method is it's an acronym for friends and family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And it's just a quick way to go through a conversation that focuses on them and not on me. Like, I want to hear about you. People love to talk about themselves. And I need to be a good listener. And that is something I'm working on daily, not to interrupt and to listen. But those phone calls are all about them. And this is just a, catch up, how are you doing? And this time, it would be awesome to talk about, do you need anything? Especially like the elder clients or elder friends you have, offering value every time you call. Instead of asking for business, offering value. And when you do that, you're even loved more and trusted more. And it leaves a warm fuzzy with the people I talk to. So number one is phone calls. And like I said, I like the 13-week cycle. It keeps me on track. And I get through my whole database in 13 weeks. And then that is divided into, almost four quadrants. So every 13 weeks, I'm hitting my whole database. So I'm hitting my database 4 times a year. I'm getting in front of them 4 times a year.
And how big is your database, to give people an idea?
Mine is about 2,500 people.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a fairly large database. And my goal is to try and get 1 or 2 extra contacts in my database daily. So that's pretty important for me. But database is huge for me. That is my lifeline. I mean, those are the people I've always been told, go after the people that I already know, like, and trust. So that is my first follow-up technique. And right now, I'm getting a lot of training, and I've been told to double down during this time. A lot of people, back off of their businesses. Like, a lot of people are backing off and like staying at home and putting their feet up and binge watching Netflix. But as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, we need to double down right now. And double down is whatever you've been doing. Like if you're trying to make, for instance, 10 contacts a day, go to 20. Okay? And I know that seems a lot, but a contact isn't just a phone call. A contact is a 2-way conversation about whatever topic your business is, or it doesn't even have to be that. It could just be a 2-way conversation to get in front of face. But that could include text, phone, email. I think those are the 3 that you're going to get more of an immediate response. So that is considered a contact. If you text somebody and you get nothing in reply, for me, that's not a contact. So I do not consider that one of my 20. But 20 seems daunting, although you have all those different avenues. And there is this great app, I think it's called the WhatsApp. Is that correct?
That's a messaging app, yeah.
Yeah, and the neat thing about that one is you can actually add groups. And for instance, like I could send out this inspirational, motivational quote to a group of people. And on this particular app, it doesn't look like it went to a group of people when it's received by me.
Oh.
It was personally sent to me with my name at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really easy way to hit a lot of people fast. And when you do those inspirational quotes and stuff, I tend to get 80% or more response versus something generic or something business related. When it's like, how are you doing? That's value. You're inspiring them. You're lifting them up in the morning. You're giving them value. So I always go into my interactions with people as, how can I help you? Not what can I get out of you? Be a go-giver, not a go-getter.
Sure.
So that's my goal with follow-ups. The second method that I really like to use is handwritten letters, in card form, or just, whatever stationery you like to use is handwritten letters. Postcards are thrown in the trash, as I mentioned. Now they're trying to get even bigger postcards. So yeah, it might get a second or two more of an eye on it, but it's getting thrown in the trash. And that's expensive. Letters are fairly free except for the time and the postage stamp. And even if you do bulk mail, then you can even get a discount on your postage. But and letters, definitely people love them. We all love when somebody, we always open a handwritten letter, don't we? Don't use a stamp on the front for your return address, or handwrite the envelope, and it will be opened every time, I promise you. So, and then with the letters, I have a system where I write down, I do 2 letters a day or 2 cards a day. And I have a system, so I have those 2 cards on but it's in my little daily planner, and then I write down those 2 letters, and then in the week, I will follow up with a phone call.
Okay.
My letter, and in that letter, there might be some value other than just, how are you, and I'm thinking about you, finding out on Facebook things that they like, things that they want to do. Then you can go and you can set up these Google events for certain people. And this person, that they love dog shows. So you can do a search for Google events on dog shows. And when a dog show comes up in the area, it will, I think it tags you or something. And then you can send that to that client.
You get an email alert. Yeah, a Google alert.
Yeah, so there's your value, giving them that. My third form, like I said, is text. I love to text. But again, it has to be two-way to be considered a contact for me. So that's why, like I said, inspirational quotes and stuff like that tend to get more of a response. And finally, there's the email. That is typically my last way to communicate follow-up. Although I'll still do it, I tend to do things that work for me. And it's not necessarily always the best way to do things. If I know the client and I know that they would rather have an email versus a phone call, then that's what I'm going to do. And these are and every time I make a phone call, I have a piece of paper in front of me, and I'm taking all kinds of notes. I'm finding out, when their kids' birthdays are. So the next time I call in the next quarter, I'm going to say, hey, how was that birthday party? So take a lot of notes, because then they know you're really listening. Get the names of the kids, the dogs, the names of their animals, anything that's important to them. If they're about to go on a vacation, because remember, we're talking the Ford method. So you're going to hear recreation. It's, what do you like to do? Where do you like to go? Where's your favorite? Oh, I'm going on vacation in a week. So then next quarter, how was your vacation? A lot of listening. And so, those are the 4 methods I use. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I have one more method, if I may.
Sure.
And this one is also super sweet. And it's called Popeyes. And some of you have heard of Popeyes. And what I do is, it can be anything. For example, on Easter, around the Easter time, I made these little tiny baskets. And those ESO lip balms that look like eggs?
Yes.
Popeye. It's just a little basket with eggs in it, and it's actually lip gloss or lipsticks, right? And it's just to get in front of their face. It's like, hey, I'm going to pop by them in the area, just be them, and I just have something for you. And if they don't answer, then I'll still go by, I'll put it on their front porch, I'll take a picture, and I'll text it to them and say, hey, I was just by your house, and I sent you something, And then you can follow up if they weren't there and say, hey, did you get it, or whatever. So.
Now, you can't do that for all 2,500 of your database.
Without a doubt, no. When I do those, I'm sorry, I do categorize my my database into A, B's, and C's. And that takes a minute to do, but your A's are the ones that think about you, refer you, have given you business in the past, have referred their friends to you. Those is kind of like your gold clients. So those are the ones that I do Popeyes for.
Okay.
And there is so many things on Pinterest about Popeyes. There's just so many examples and fun things that are related to the season or the time or what have you. So just have fun with it. And it's just a great way to get in front of people.
Awesome.
Yeah. Those are my big ones.
Well, thank you for your ideas. I do want to mention Kim is talking about staying in touch with your database. And thank you, Kristen. Kristen says, listening and taking notes definitely helps. And I think that's key. And I'm doing a lot of online Zoom meetings, and I don't know if people realize I'm looking down and I'm typing because I'm taking notes as I'm meeting people online Zooms. And I need to make sure that they know I'm not working on something else. I'm taking notes. But yeah, I agree that that's a great tip. I want to mention also that we're talking about follow-up to stay in touch with your database, and especially the people that can refer business to you, and maybe they're not referring business to you and you want them to remember and stay top of mind. But also when we're doing networking events and you meet someone and you get a business card, or you have a one-to-one in these breakout meetings of the online Zooms, follow up with them. I mean, that's a great touch, later that afternoon or the next day, just to say, hey, it was great meeting you today, and mention something that they said so they know you were listening, and then put them in your database for that touch in the next quarter or 4 times a year kind of a thing. But to meet someone at a networking event, whether it's online or in person, if you're doing in-person networking at the chamber or business association, to meet someone, to get a business card, and then don't ever talk to them again is a waste of your networking time. So if you're going to make the most of the fact that you paid a fee to go to an event, or maybe it was free but it was your time, to meet people and not follow up is a waste of your investment.
The other thing I noticed when I was at an event once is somebody was trying to make as many contacts as they could, and they were just kind of, hey, sending out their, I guarantee you that those people don't remember her from yesterday.
Right.
But to stop and have a 5-minute conversation with somebody, get to know them, and then give them the business card is going to have way more impact than handing out 20 business cards like she was doing. So
absolutely. I have a term for that I made up. You want to hear my term?
Yeah.
I call it card shoving. Don't be a card shover.
That's a good term. I like it. It makes total sense. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. I want to invite you guys back next Wednesday at 1:30. I'm going to be talking about Facebook ads, and I'm going to show you some examples of how much $5 gets you on Facebook, at least in my experience, so that you can have an idea if this is something that's a good tip for your business or not. I also have coming on in the next few weeks somebody from the Small Business Development Center at the KSU office that he's going to be coming on and giving us some business tips and how, so you can identify if the Small Business Development Center has resources that would benefit you. You'll know from that. So those are some of the topics that we have coming up. And the East Cobb Women in Business, we are going to be meeting at Mabry Park on August 14th at 10:30 a.m., 10:30 to noon. It is free to attend, but space is limited. I think there were 5 or 6 spaces left. We're keeping it small and we're socially distancing. But if you are a woman business owner in the East Cobb area, then we invite you to join us for East Cobb Women in Business networking at Mabry Park.
Look forward to it.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you so much, Melinda. I appreciate it, and I will see you next Wednesday.
All right.
All right.
Okay, and we are off the air. I hope the sound was okay. If I would just, couldn't hear you. Wait.
Let me unmute.
There you are.
That was the first Zoom meeting where I was the focus.
Oh.
I've been in like Zoom meetings where it's like there's a ton of people and I'm just like a spectator listening, but to actually be interviewed